If he has to fight Wilder, he's got to beat Wilder again. Both of those things will happen. Fury will...
So, we are just 2 days after the fight since Deontay Wilder got demolished against Tyson Fury. And already, I don't know if this interview took place. Okay, well, Sky Sports just released an interview earlier today. It's 9:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, February the 24th, 2020. Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury on February the 22nd, 2020. Unless, you watched it overnight, then it was early morning, February the 23rd. Nonetheless, I think that Eddie Hearn did this interview no more than, I'm guessing, about maybe 24 hours after the fight. It's with Sky Sports because he's already said he's spoken to Top Rank. He's spoken to Team Fury or Tyson Fury, correct me if I'm wrong. And basically everybody is on board to make the fight. But two key things need to happen in order for the Gypsy King, who I feel should be the A side, even though financially Anthony Joshua is the A side, but Tyson Fury is undefeated. But that's a whole different video. That's just my opinion. We'll talk about that later on, possibly in the stream. I feel that Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua is the fight that should happen next. One fight. Because if they do that rematch clause shit, I don't think the sanctioning bodies are going to allow it. The belts are going to be split up. But two key things need to happen. Deontay Wilder needs to decline and maybe be paid to step aside, because right now, as it stands, he is the mandatory challenger for the WBC title, Tyson Fury. And then Dylan White won't get his shot, which we're going to talk about later on in the video, until at least February of 2021. So Deontay Wilder has 28 days, as it stands from this video, to decline the Tyson Fury rematch, the third fight in which he'll get 40%, and the fight would be on the A side, the winner of the previous fight, Tyson Fury side. Kubrat Pulev would also have to step aside and possibly be on the undercard, and then be the immediate mandatory. It's complex. It's complex. It can happen, but listen to Eddie's pitch. Listen to Eddie's pitch. I'm going to let this play through, and you're going to see my little FBI disclaimer pop up because this belongs to Sky Sports. Sky Sports, legally, we can play this all the way through. But since y'all been triggered and you like to fuck with my channel, we're just going to, all right, please subscribe.
Will beat Wilder again. And AJ will knock Pulev clean out, despite Bob Arum telling us very differently. And you will get this fight. We will do everything that it takes to make this fight. And for once, last time you had us and you had Team Wilder and we were locking heads. Right now you have two guys and two camps that genuinely want this fight, that genuinely will do everything they can to make this fight. It is the only fight. When are we ever going to get the chance of two British World Heavyweight champions fighting for the undisputed title against each other? It's never happened before. It will never happen again. We'd be clowns, we'd be idiots if we didn't make this fight. We believe we win the fight. They believe they win the fight. So let's see it. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. People talk about the money, people talk about where it's going to be. Forget all that for 1 second and just strip it all back to the beauty of sport and understand what we have here. Total domination of the heavyweight division in this country. This little old country called Great Britain. You've got all these Americans, oh, you guys over the pond, who are you? What do you have over there? Well, I'll tell you what we have. We have the golden keys to the chalice. So we are kings. Great Britain, we are the kings of the world in boxing right now. But let's not waste it. Let's give us a chance to make history. Two British heavyweight world champions clashing for the undisputed world heavyweight title. We're on top of the world. So let's capitalise it, let's make the most of it. And like I said, from our side, we will do everything it takes to make this fight. And I honestly believe they will too.
So it's obvious you want it to happen, Eddie, as do we all.
So there's issues, as we talked about. The first major thing that needs to happen is Deontay Wilder needs to decline the rematch. But there's severe repercussions that comes for the career of Deontay Wilder if he does that. For example, he'll lose out on $28+ million guaranteed at least. That's what he made unofficially guaranteed for the first fight. It's been highly publicized and broadcasted and written about throughout the course of fight week. So for him to walk away from the rematch, he's leaving, let's just say $28 plus million on the table. Also, the chance to avenge his loss that he brutally lost. He brutally was defeated. He would have to go to the back of the line in regards to Dylan White will surpass him in WBC rankings and basically be the next mandatory, since Deontay Wilder would decline his spot. And basically Deontay Wilder would have to work his way up through the rankings to get a mandatory spot, which I'm sure the WBC would gratefully do, and the IBF probably. But then he would probably have to fight somebody like Charles Martin, Adam Kwinoski. I was going to say Andre Ward. Deontay Wilder has a lot to lose. But if he goes into the rematch, a lot of people feel he'll lose the rematch and brutally, get beat worse. And how is he mentally? It's just a couple of days after the fight. He hasn't posted anything. You know how normally a fighter will lose and say, well, I'll post something, just like Eddie Hearn said in the same interview. I'll be back, and yes, I'm going to go back, and go back after my title. We're going to see, man. I love Eddie Hearn's pitch. I love the fact that he's, he's doing everything he can. He was already on the phone with Top Rank. Already on the phone with Team Tyson Fury, MTK. And right now, as it stands, I can't see Deontay Wilder and his team allowing him, just like they let him and negotiated for him to turn down that guaranteed money from the zone. I can't see them allowing him to turn down all this money. I can't. Now I'm talking about from their side, not from another side. Their side. Remember, Lou DiBella lost his fucking job over that shit. Quietly lost his job. I saw exactly what happened. I was like, how come nobody talking about why Lou DiBella is not at this secret, mysterious, out of nowhere press conference Deontay Wilder is having with Showtime to announce that he's fighting Dominic Breazeale, and then you have Steven Espinoza talking about loyalty and all that shit, and then Deontay Wilder's next fight is over on PBC, fight Luis Ortiz in a rematch. Whole different video. I've been there, done that, several of them. All right. I'm going to take a little bit of jump cut, not for you, but for me, and get to some more clips. Eddie Hearn has been on fire this morning. He is really trying to, listen, I look at this as pressure, he's trying to pressure Deontay Wilder, into not taking the rematch. I'll explain more later on.
And we've got to try and do everything we can to make this fight. Let's have it right for the first time ever. And this will never happen again. Britain dominates and owns the heavyweight division. 3 months ago, we were sitting here. Deontay Wilder was champion. Andy Ruiz was champion. Al Heyman, America, they had all the belts. I kind of got the feeling they were almost laughing at us over there from the other side of the pond. Now, this little old country has complete domination of the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury has the WBC, the Ring Magazine title. Anthony Joshua has the WBA, the IBF, the WBO, the IBO World Championships. Britain owns the heavyweight division, the biggest division in the sport of boxing. Now, we have the opportunity to make an event. It's not just the biggest event in British boxing history, one of the biggest sporting events of all time. 2 Brits going for the undisputed heavyweight world champions. 2 completely different individuals, 2 completely different fan bases, but 2 great heavyweight world champions. 2 guys with great comeback stories. Fury out of the ring. What he's come back from has been incredible. Joshua almost humiliated at Madison Square Garden. What he had to pick himself up from, come back from after being written off.
I agree. American fans are not going to really agree. And yes, I am American, but on a global boxing stage and what it means for that nation, I think that, this fight's got to happen. He's going to talk about, how, he wants the government to get involved. I strongly feel that this fight, if Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua does happen, it has to happen in the UK. What? That shouldn't even be an argument. I don't give a fuck how much fucking money Saudi Arabia put up. No disrespect to Saudi Arabia. Y'all put on a fucking... Y'all blew that shit away, man. Y'all had people over in the hood in North Philadelphia talking about, that shit over in Saudi Arabia. You saw that fight on the DAZN, what do you call it? DAZN? Y'all really had that shit looking nice over there. Especially with those entrances. That shit really took people away. But anyway, it's just too many moving parts, though. The biggest is he got to, Deontay Wilder's got to turn down the fight. And do I want Deontay Wilder to turn in the fight? I don't want him to get beat up again. If that makes any sense to you, and I guess that kind of gives you, I think he's going to get beat up worse in the third fight. I mean, you got to respect his nuts. You got to respect that nutsack if he goes back in there, man. You know, this is different. It's not like with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua where you knew, okay, well, we know that inside of Anthony Joshua is the boxer. He's a boxer. He can box. He trimmed that weight. He boxed. People may have been like, oh, he on some bitch shit. I enjoyed that shit. I enjoyed it. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Now we know you can not only knock motherfuckers out. You know, you can do it if you want to, but you can box and move and jab and shit. This is the different, like, that knockdown he took and almost got his ass, destroyed pretty much against Vladimir Klitschko. You know, he dug down, got his ass up, but you can tell the way he got up. He took that shit. You go look at after he got knocked down and the way he, Anyway, moving on. I just don't think that Deontay Wilder. I don't know what adjustments Deontay Wilder can make that's inside of him that can give him a better chance to win the third fight. What? Throw more punches? Tyson Fury's already shown that in those 7 rounds, it may seem like they blew by. Because you was just like, oh, Deontay Wilder's just out of it. He going to go down in any minute. Even if the third fight, Tyson Fury goes and takes it right to him, get on the inside. Deontay Wilder has shown us he can't fight on the inside either. People say, well, he's got to throw more punches. I don't think he can make that big change in one fight. And then the confidence factor. What is he going to do? Go in there jabbing Fury? Moving around the ring, jabbing to the body? What is he going to do? What is he going to do? Jump cut.
Since and he said a lot in the build-up to that fight. And I know people, you have to give him a huge amount of respect. He hung in there. He stayed at it. He didn't quit. The towel came in the end. By the way, absolutely perfect decision from Mark Brillen. You had JDS come out and say, I can't believe he threw the towel in. The guy couldn't stand up. The guy didn't want to be there. You could see in his face, his head was in the towel. He had blood coming from his ear, blood coming from his mouth. He could not stand up. In fact, he's lucky that he didn't get hurt in that fight because a bigger puncher and someone that could potentially land cleaner could have really done some damage in that fight. So you have to respect Wilder. At the same time, it was such a catastrophic beating that how do you come back from that? And like I said, it wasn't that he was in the fight or he had a couple of good rounds and got caught. He got battered from start to finish. So we'll see what he's made of. It's very difficult to come back from that kind of defeat. And going back to AJ, I remember going round to his apartment on the Sunday after that fight. But all we discussed from the dressing room after the fight to the next day to the day after was, we'll get him in a rematch. You'll win the rematch. And I'm guessing that that's the noise that will come from the Wilder camp. I hope that he doesn't take the rematch. And probably the right thing to do isn't take the rematch. But it's very difficult when you've got a straight chance to win your title back, not to take it. And I think if he doesn't take it, he's going to get a huge amount of criticism. And if he doesn't take it, he may never get another chance. So we'll.
That's the truth. That's the truth. We haven't even talked about what this means to PBC and what they're going through over there in their organization. With losses, J-Rock losing, the Jamel Charlo, J-Rock pay-per-view that was supposed to happen, Tank Davis gripping up women in public events. Errol Spence getting into his accident, delaying things. Look like he is going to be coming back with win. Eddie Hearn didn't mention it himself, but also all the money Deontay Wilder would have to leave on the table. And of course, he's going to have a whole bunch of people, everybody telling him, yo, you can do that shit in a rematch. You got him before. You can get him again. Will Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman allow him to decline the rematch? We're going to be talking about these topics a lot in, detail over the next coming weeks. Since we're now 28 days away, it's its own countdown. And I'm going to treat it as such. 28 days remain until Deontay Wilder has to decide, will he take the rematch or not? Now, especially on Deontay Wilder's side, they're going to do everything in their power to make sure this shit don't get into the media. everything in their power to make sure this shit don't get into the media. They want to make sure, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Al Heyman himself flew to wherever Deontay, well, they was in Vegas together, Al Heyman's out there. You know, if he said, champ, go away for a few weeks, go on a yacht around somewhere, you know, clear your head, we're going to be talking. You know, he got some soul searching to do. Deontay Wilder has got some soul searching to do. In my heart, I want him to take the rematch. In my heart, I feel he's going to get beat up in a rematch again. But I know that Fury versus Joshua, if it can happen in the summer, it has to happen. It has to happen as soon as possible. Because they have to show, especially no disrespect, if Al Heyman is not involved, he's been known to let fights drag on too long where they eventually don't happen because somebody ended up losing or whatever. So with these two, with Top Rank and Matchroom and The Zone and Sky Sports and ESPN, they got to do something. This is big right here. Put some shit together where fucking, if you want, I don't know. I mean, how The Zone, they got to get, we're not even going to talk about that. Fuck it. Make the fight happen. Fury versus Joshua. Strike while the iron is hot. Got to give Pulev some money. You got to get the sanctioning bodies in check. Like, yo, fucking IBF, listen. You made fucking Charles Martin the next mandatory. What the fuck is you doing? Don't try to fuck up this history. And WBO, Paco, yo. Like, after this, everybody can get their shots. Or we drop the belts. But let the fight happen so that the winner can get crowned for all the belts. Then if they got to drop them, then drop them. But don't be on some bullshit. Make these motherfuckers drop their belts. No disrespect calling them motherfuckers. Drop their belts, you know, and going into a fight like that. That's just disrespect to the sport. And I already hate the WBA. Hate is a strong word, and I do. I can hate an organization, right? They ain't people. Gilberto Mendoza, you seem like a cool dude, but your belts make me sick. I get sick when I think about the WBO. I mean the WBA, excuse me. Sorry, man. It's earlier in the morning. Fucking all those belts make me sick. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't got off. We'll be back.
Rematch. We deal with Pulev and then try and make that fight in November, December. If he doesn't take the rematch, perfect. We go straight into the Fury fight. We're willing to do it. I spoke to MTK. I spoke to Top Rank already. We're happy to all move together and make that fight for the summer. My gut feeling is Wilder will come out today and say, respect to Fury, but I'll be back and I will beat him in the rematch. But for me, this fight is happening. You know, all AJ and Fury have got to do is win their next fight. And we may even see it sooner. But worst case scenario, all they've got to do is win their last fight. Yeah, I mean.
We're going to talk about White, I guess, in the next video because I went off topic. So, we'll see. We'll wait for Deontay Wilder's tweet. We'll wait for his social media response. If there will be one. If it's some shit like, oh, well, I'm going to take some time off my family to think about things, go over shit with my team shit, then maybe he won't take. It's just too much money to leave on the table. With ESPN and Fox coming together, and I know it's going to be pressure from guys like Shelly Finkel, people on his team, Al Heyman, even though they say he's the nicest guy in the world. Like, come on. It's too much money on the table. And Deontay Wilder is PBC right now. Him and Errol Spence, they are PBC. Manny Pacquiao, you can consider him a part-time fighter. Like, they are PBC. Deontay Wilder has been Mr. PBC. Like, they over there hurting right now. No, they hurting, bros. Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy, FightFeed360.com.